It's hard to find information on a true celibacy system. When one thinks of widowhood, dual widowhood, and the natural system, you will realize that all are utilizing the urge to mate and rear young or suppressing that urge. The celibacy system is the most extreme in denying the sexual urges of either sex. This then is the motivator in the celibacy system. The hens and cocks are flown separately, trained separately, and raced separately. Unlike widowhood or dual widowhood, no specific mate is used to motivate any specific race pigeon. The pigeons are not allowed to raise a round of youngsters. This is one difference between widowhood or dual widowhood. If one wishes to raise one round before separating cocks and hens, it is acceptable, but does not fit the truest definition of the celibate system. You have to amend and use the system that best fits your needs. In this system, the race pigeons are allowed to go down on eggs, but after 10 days of brooding over the eggs, they are removed, and the cocks and hens are placed in separate sections for the remainder of the race season. 4 to 6 weeks before the race season, the hens and cocks are to be placed in separate sections in which they cannot see each other. From this point onward, cocks and hens are loft-flown and trained separately. When cocks are being loft-flown, the hens need to be inside their compartment and not allowed out into fly pens. If so, the cocks tend to try to get into the fly pens and do not loft-fly as desired. The same goes for when the hens are loft-flying. For maximum training, it's best to take one sex on a training toss, and after the birds have returned, call them in and let the other sex loft-fly. When shipping races, cocks and hens must not be sent to the same race. If your club has distance and short races together, it's best to send one sex to the short races and the other to the long distance races. If you have only one race, it's best to ship only one sex. It's your choice on whether to race just cocks or hens or both. I believe it's best to maximize the birds you have and fly both sexes. Now is the time for motivation. Unlike widowhood, where cocks and hens are allowed to have physical contact to get them excited and in the right frame of mind, the celibate racing pigeons are not allowed physical contact. They have been separated and they have not been allowed to rear youngsters, so they are about as far away from being mated as possible other than the partner they brooded on eggs with for the 10 days. The cocks can be placed in a section with or without nest boxes. In extreme celibacy, the cocks are also denied nest boxes and are in a section with perches. The nest boxes can be used also as a motivator by being denied nest boxes as well as mates. The hens should be placed in a section without nest boxes as well. If you are lacking space, they can remain with nest boxes but without cocks. The wall between the hens and the cocks should be solid. There's hardly anything that can be done to stop the cocks and hens from hearing each other unless one puts them in separate buildings. This is not practical for most people. A third section is used on the other wall from the section with the nest boxes. This section can have an open view between the two sections, such as lathes or lattice work. On the day of shipping, move the hens to the other section and place the cocks in the section with the nest boxes. He too should now be able to see each other. The cocks will go to their nest boxes and will be calling for hens. The hens will be strutting back and forth in front of the divider between the two sections. No copulation can occur because the birds cannot physically get together. After approximately 30 minutes, coop up the racing pigeons that are to be shipped and then place the remaining birds back in their original sections. On the return from the race, have the cocks in their regular section and the hens in the young bird section. When the cocks come home, they will fly to their nest box and they will see the hens. Let them have a few minutes of victory before placing them back into their section. When then hens come home, place them in their section. There is a problem if you have to work or be absent when the birds arrive from the race. If this is the case, unfortunately the race pigeons will be together for some time, unless you only flew one sex. If you cannot be home when the birds return from the race, I suggest only shipping one sex. If the birds are allowed to be together upon the return and to copulate, you are not flying a strict celibate system. But, if you do allow for it, and separate them as soon as is possible for you and yet you are still having great results, then go with it.